Drive is Wayne Goodsell. So I watched Bill Maher's opening monologue. I'll post it in the description below, the link to it for you. Brigham Young. Yep. He connected the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the religion of Mitt Romney, as he didn't talk about Senator Mike Lee, who voted against the confirmation of the Supreme Court Justice. He's Mormon too, and of infamous descent, as John D. Lee is his direct ancestor, who murdered women and children at the Mountain Meadows Massacre. And but Bill Maher was connecting it to the crazy thinking of MAGA followers of QAnon, and tied that to Mitt Romney approving the confirmation of the justice, and threw in, the cult practice of Mormonism. It's a cult, Bill, a cult. But also threw in Brigham Young. In Mormonism, there's an underground saying of Brigham Young, but he's not Mormon. He doesn't know the underground culture of Mormonism. And so, I've been telling you guys this for years now. When I first found out about the beliefs that QAnon was indoctrinating believers, that the deep state Dems were space alien, satanic pedophiles. The three main categories. And there are other branch-offs, but those are the three main categories. They're from outer space, they're satanic, and they're pedophiles. And then there's the baby drinking blood stuff. But this was during the time when the 6 individuals who at least were Mormon as children had gone over to the bountiful home of Nelson's daughter and her husband, where they claimed in a lawsuit here in Utah, which you cannot win against the church, even if it's family members of prophets. But nonetheless, they tried to claim that Sister Nelson and her husband were performing satanic pedophilia rituals in their basement apartment there in Bountiful. And it was on Wikipedia until the Supreme Court of Utah canceled it. I guess it would be kind of hard to provide evidence of such a thing. And so I can understand if that's all they had to offer, just their memories. But we do have other factual situations of Mormons and pedophilia, the Boy Scouts being the biggest of them. But even this past week in the news, it has been brought out about a middle-aged pedophile working with children and is in the church. And I did a video on that. The next day I saw on the news that one of the boys came out and spoke out against this Mormon for pedophilia. And then there's been other incidences. Brian David Mitchell, he was ex-Mormon, but nonetheless the same culture of practice. There was the bishop who was a former or was a police officer down south of Utah, who was committing prostitution with underage girls, trying to save them. So yeah, there's a lot of disturbing sexual deviance among Mormons. And so a culture outside of Mormonism, like Bill Maher and his audience, they don't fully grasp how right on to Brigham Young that is. But the Book of Mormon tells us exactly the identity of the great and abominable church founded by the devil. All you have to do is look at the keystone of that church's temple to know exactly the identity of the satanic pedophilia space aliens. Because where do Mormons believe in their theology they come from? Ta-da! Outer space. And I've been warning you, as Mormons, that QAnon, all they have to do is turn the dial of attention to the church, and all of a sudden, it's not a missing basement in a pizza parlor. All of a sudden, you have direct, confirmed facts tying the church to these three claims: the inverted pentagram, pedophilia, and space aliens. The Christian movie Godmakers lays it right out. Mormons believe they come from outer space, a planet called Kolob. If you could hide a Kolob, it's the him. It's kind of hard to deny, Mormons. How are you going to respond? Oh, we're not satanic anymore. Oh, we left the Boy Scouts. We no longer rape boys. It's like, oh, well, in 1978, we stopped being racist. We've never stopped being sexist. And we're bringing back polygamy under Nelson. He changed the law of chastity. And we haven't gotten rid of Brigham Young's framing of Joseph Smith, section 132 in our Doctrine and Covenants. And I'm disappointed, ex-Mormons. You know Joseph Smith had a whole chapter on monogamy that was taken out when Joseph Brigham Young put in section 132. And I'm the one who let you know, because I checked the Joseph Smith papers, that Brigham Young also gutted section 131 in order to make this happen. To put 132 after 131. Joseph Smith was talking to a monogamous couple and said, when you get sealed in the temple, you will inherit the celestial kingdom. Brigham Young can't have that. Polygamy. It says so right in verse 1. That is now the law. And frame Joseph Smith for it. And ex-Mormons, you should know better. Shame on you. Because when you blame Joseph, it takes away from Brigham. And when you take away from Brigham, you let Brigham Young's crimes slide. Because you're focused on Joseph, who Brigham Young wanted you to focus on, away from him. But in 1874, I found his Journal of Discourse talk where he confesses Joseph Smith had nothing to do with polygamy, because Brigham Young said he was too dumb. He was a fallen prophet and took credit for polygamy. But if you're not going to do your research, if you're going to just trust a meme, you're going to get fooled. So, yeah, the church is exposed, guys. And I'll again put it in after. No, I'll put it in the beginning to remind you that Joseph Smith knew Brigham Young would betray him and murder him, and change the name of the church to what it is, etc.